What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
And Chris Abercon.
What's going on, everybody?
What's going on, everybody? And sorry for the long hiatus. I was sick, so it's my fault. I was out of pocket for a couple of weeks. I had no voice. And as we all know, you can't do a podcast or radio show without a voice. So at least not the voice I had. It was terrible. But thank you very much for being patient with us and joining us on this journey. So we are on WDJY 99.1 FM, Tuesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern in the Atlanta metro area, right there in the rush hour traffic where we have a captive audience. But starting June 10th, we will also be on Fairfax Radio. So that's the broader Washington, D.C. public access radio channel. It'll be the second Tuesday at 8 a.m. of every month. So it's kind of confusing. So I'll just tell everybody June 10th is the next one, or the first one. So very excited about all that good stuff. But without further ado, I give it to you, Shannon.
Right, everybody. So this article comes from securityweek.com, written by Ionut Argyle. And the title of this one is Carnival Data Breach Exposed 6 Million People, right? So there's a data breach out there that leaves 6 million Carnival customers dealing with the possible identity theft issues going forward. And it's crazy, right? So like I've seen this in the past and not really paid too much attention to it because I've gone on a Carnival cruise. I've gone on 2 Carnival cruises before, but it's been like over 20 years. So I never got the email that they said they sent to everybody on this. So maybe my information's long been purged, but like Carnival has had a rough go of it for like the last 6 years, right? So they got hacked in 2019. They had a ransomware attack in 2020, hacked again in 2021. Here we are in 2026. We got another one that popped up, right? But what ended up going on with this one though was the incident was identified on April 14th. So the fact that we're seeing an article about this in May, right? We've talked about this before on the show, and I have a problem with this when it comes to it being so late with people being notified, right? And so what ended up happening? Social engineering, right? Hackers gained access to an employee's account through social engineering, right? Maybe they weren't doing their cyber awareness training like they should have, right? Like I have to do every year, right? To keep access to my accounts and make sure I'm not falling for some of the stuff that's going on, right? Not also to include the training that I conduct for our systems where I tell people about social media and what not to do, what to post out there, things of that nature. But using this compromised account that they got through social engineering, right? They access company systems, right? And the things that they got access to, right? So they got names, addresses, date of birth, email addresses, phone numbers, government issued ID numbers. So that could be multiple, right? That could be the social security number, the work ID numbers for people that are here on visas, right? So they got a good bit of information, right? Like these are things that with a lot of verification in this day and age, people need to provide to prove who you are, right? And I know companies are getting away from a lot of that static information and they're making it to where it's something that's more fluid for you to verify, but there's a lot of websites and things of that nature that still use these for verification, right? And when you look at their news release, it's kind of weird, right? So they sent this Carnival Corporation notice of data breach, right? And then they mentioned, April 14th, IT team did this, right? And so does everybody want to guess how they're going to make people whole for this, right? Credit monitoring, right? It's TransUnion credit monitoring.
It's always TransUnion or LifeLock or
Yep.
combination of both.
Yep. TransUnion was their preferred method for this one, right? So they say they're going to give you 2 years of credit monitoring, right? You get a year. Every year you get you can pull a credit report for free. There's a website for it where you can do it if you want to go down there. But yeah, that's what they're going to offer to people for these 6 million people that have had their information out there. And also something they did put in the news release I thought was kind of cool though is for certain residents of certain states, they actually put information out there for like California's Office of Privacy Protection. If you're a California resident, to reach out to them. DC residents, Iowa, Kentucky, Maryland, Massachusetts, they go through a bunch of them. And it's like the Attorney General office, right? So good on them for providing that to people, right? Maybe they had to. Maybe their lawyers told them, hey, you might want to dig in a little bit deeper to provide a little bit more is maybe what happened, but good for them on that. I can't say I've honestly seen that when I've looked at notices for things like this where they go that much into it, where they're like, hey, contact your attorney general for your state, if you're a resident here or whatever. So good on them. But the fact that they keep getting hit like this, be better, right? Like do something better with your cybersecurity and training of your people so they don't keep falling for this stuff. But Chris, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so I mean, good point. Good shout out to the, credit monitoring aspect, right? So that's a good way for you as an individual to keep track of what's going on. But I would say, take it a step further. It'd be more useful to freeze your credit, right? Freeze your credit so that these adversaries can't open an account because what was exposed, probably your government ID numbers, birth date. I mean, that's all you really need to get something started, right? Yeah, so I would say that, I know might be difficult for some people, but credit freezing is probably for a bit, right? After this is probably the best course of action because at least then you know that these cyber actors can't open an account, or if they sell your account to somebody, those people can't, open an account on your behalf, right? Illegally, right? So that's one thing. So
It's a good practice. It's a good practice
yeah,
across the board, Chris. Like I do
absolutely.
it myself. And here's the thing. I've been doing it so long and I don't like do anything that I forget about it. Like the one time I may have to use my social security
It's like,
number,
oh,
like
I
it's
gotta
I'm
get a
like, oh yeah,
loan.
yeah.
I gotta get a credit card. Oh crap, I'm frozen. Let me go.
I forget, I have to unfreeze and then freeze it again, right? But it's a good practice
Yeah,
across the board.
absolutely.
Good point you're bringing up right there.
And then one thing too is I want to bring up, was it Shiny Hunters, right? Like that crew has been really targeting, like Salesforce or any widely used business CRM product, right? So that kind of makes me think it's not like they're probably not even targeting the privileged users, right? They're just targeting people who have access to maybe Salesforce or, some type of customer, database. Generally, that could be anybody from like an account executive or somebody at sales or somebody, even like a business development representative or something like that. And it's not like a cybersecurity person, right? So it's just from my perspective, it's like, hey, these phishing, if you handle customer data, if you handle sensitive, PII, PHI, whatever, yeah, I mean, you are a target, man. I'm just saying, you're going to be targeted. And those social engineering organizations are very, very good. They have practice. They do this on a daily basis. All it takes is one guy to say, "Oh yeah, that's right. I do need to give you my password and username for some reason. I am compromised. Yeah. Oh yeah. You're part of the Salesforce team. Yeah. Here, give me 1 second. So that's why it's one of those things where it's, cybersecurity is everybody's responsibility, right? Even us IT guys, we just know it organically. It's just what we're built, what we're trained to do. But from the business perspective, or really state, local, federal government, it's everybody's responsibility. So, I mean, that's really, the big one. And then one thing too, you already mentioned Carnival's kind of been getting hit, right? Again, like they're big, I think they're the biggest cruise in the world, right? So, or close to it. So they maybe just be, training thing going on. I don't know. But again, they probably do have a mandatory training, right? Most of these publicly traded organizations do. But again, like it's complacency, and it's, like it's that trust that you gotta trust nothing, zero trust, right? You gotta question everything you get. And that's, especially if, and it's difficult. I know if you're like in a customer facing or sales, if you're in that sales position where you're always, oh, I need to click on this. I need to make sure that I have a complete awareness of the market, right? So just be sensitive, be very aware of things like URLs, the email addresses, and if it's like legitimately spelled and things like that, just very much pay attention. So those are kind of my 2 cents. Ryan, what do you think?
Well, it's a tale as old as time.
That's right.
It's what it is. So I did a little bit of research on it because I know a lot of these cruise lines are international, but Carnival is an American company headquartered out of Miami, Florida. However, its ships are registered elsewhere because it gives you international breaks and things of that nature. So a lot of their ships are registered in Panama as well as Malta. But with that comes specific regulation. So mandatory regulation. So the International Association of Classification Societies, or IACS, they have to adhere to E26 and E27, which regulates vessels to be designed, constructed, and operated with built-in cyber resiliency. They also are subject to International Maritime Organization, or ISM code, and IMO guidelines for safety management systems on ships incorporating cyber risk management. And then on board, they have to have advanced firewalls and IDS, network segmentation, multi-factor authentication and encryption, artificial intelligence monitoring, etc. But at the end of the day, your weakest link is always your personnel. It's just the way it is. You can do all that. You can arm yourself to the teeth, and it just takes one person to leave the front door open, and then bam, you're compromised. So I think I've taken 3 or 4 Carnival cruises over my life. The last one's probably like, I don't even know, like maybe close to a decade ago. So I didn't receive any emails or anything either. So maybe my information has since elapsed. I don't know what their retention policy is. But regardless, people, I say it last year, I say it this year. This is the year to change your password. It's about to be in the very near future. I'm just gonna say change it quarterly, like because it is what it is, and don't ever click any links that are sent to you via email or text, right? Because we're all compromised. Everyone who has ever touched the internet is now compromised in some form or fashion because third-party risk management is a real thing, right? Third parties and fourth parties are just letting your data go. So, and I feel bad for customer service because it just makes it harder and harder on them to actually be able to talk to people via, like phone calls and emails and text messages, things of that nature. Because I don't trust anybody when they contact me. I hung up on a lady the other day. I felt so bad. She called me right back. It was due to a weird charge on my card. It was me, but it was something that I'd never purchased before. So the mechanisms kicked in at the bank, and they were like, "Hey, we need to verify this is a real purchase." But as soon as she called me and started talking about, like your card's been potentially compromised, I was like, "Nope," click. And then she called me back, and we went through some pre-texting as well as she had to send me a code and things of that nature. So I felt a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, you can have all the rules in the world.
But that's
Sorry,
sad
Chase and
though.
Amex.
Yeah, yeah.
You're just
But
like, nope.
that's like why are we at this point? You know what I mean? Like and look, I'm with you, Ryan. I probably would have been like, and here's the thing, I've done it before to my financial institution. I've done the same thing where I'm like, nah, I don't know about this, right? And
Yeah,
then,
click.
and then yeah.
You mean like, I've done it to my family by accident. Nope, it's phishing. Okay.
But that's the world we live in, right? Like we're being overly cautious, right? But I would rather be overly cautious than under cautious. I don't know how you say that, right?
Right.
But
Right. Fool me
yeah,
once.
just yeah. I don't want that first time. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want that first time. So yeah.
Fool me thrice.
Congrats to
I'm just
her.
kidding.
Yeah. I mean, thrice and 4 times and
4 times.
pentagonal times. Is that 5? I don't know. I
Right.
don't know.
Or is just living a very terrible timeline right now. So you just have to be overly cautious and just believe that you've been compromised already and take the necessary actions and move on from there because you probably have been. If you might be the one person who's not compromised right now. So, just be like the rest of us. Just change your passwords. Don't
So
answer.
the thing is, like with us, like we're cautious because of what we've been through, right? I'm pretty sure we were all in the military when we had what was it, the OPM? What was the
OPM, yeah, the
OPM.
OPM breach.
OPM? Yeah, the
Yeah.
OPM breach. Like we were all in, and it's just like, all right, well, I mean, what are we really gonna do about it, right? Like that's out of my control. I guess I will be on the lookout, but that was through no fault of our own, right? That
Yeah.
happened. So
It was like a contractor left a laptop in his car unlocked or
laptop
something
in the
like that.
car, yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
So it's again, your weakest link are people. They always will be. Sorry to you, but definitely continue to check us out on your podcast platform of choice. Please rate us, leave us some feedback, right? Like it goes a long way. So we're still in the top 10% of all podcasts just because of how consistent we are, how many episodes we have, but we have very few ratings. So please go out of your way to leave us a rating on your podcast platform of choice and continue to tune into us on your, whether it be radio, internet radio, or what have you. But without further ado, Shan, I give it to you for the next topic.
Okay, so this one comes from the Hacker News, written by Ravi Lakshmanan, and the title of this one is, and you're probably going to hear this 3 different ways between the 3 different, but ChatGPhish is what I'm going to call it. Vulnerability turns ChatGPT web summaries into a phishing surface. Okay, so what's happened here is that researchers have disclosed this vulnerability in OpenAI ChatGPT that leverages the AI assistant's implicit trust in markdown links, right? So pretty much like your hyperlinks that you have. when you're researching things, right? It's kind of a way to describe it. So the markdown links and images, and it triggers prompt injections and opens the door to phishing attacks, right? So like I said, they call it ChatGPhish, right? But I'm not gonna say what's unique because it's happening more and more, but like when it comes to phishing attacks, right? We almost always expect it to be through some type of email, right? Like that's what just kind of how we expected the game to be played, right? Well, with the prevalence of AI now, and with everybody searching using AI and writing papers using AI and doing all these things, right? Research doing AI. This is where this becomes a problem because you don't have to necessarily, or the attackers don't necessarily have to rely on somebody to click on the link in an email, right? Because that's one of those things that's heavily preached out there. Don't just click on unsolicited links or things of that nature. Well, everybody's using AI. Everybody's, looking at the links in these articles or whatever. Sometimes, I'm not going to say all the time, right? Some people just, let AI come up with something and run with it, right? But you know what I mean? It does happen. I'm even seeing it at work where I get stuff sometimes and I'm like, come on now. Like I could tell you didn't look through this before it came forward. But
Right, right. Judge me for the content of my reply,
yeah,
not the way it's formatted. All
yeah.
right. Because I use
Look,
dashes. It makes me mad. People are like, it must be AI because dashes. The dashes exist.
no, it's not. But it's
You
not
know,
even
But
that.
it, but
those
right,
M
right. But if
dashes,
it's like generic trash, then you know it was AI.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been using dashes before AI, right? I was using
yeah,
that way before, and semicolons. So
yeah,
whenever I started and I remember somebody saying like, "Is that AI?" No, that was me actually. I like using M dashes, so I'm going to
yeah.
continue using them. Well, I don't care.
Yeah.
But
It
it's
makes
not
me
even
mad.
that. Like I could take that, right? Like I'm not an Oxford comma guy either, right? Like I don't put a comma and then and. Like the and is the
I,
comma to me,
I,
right?
I
Like
love the Oxford comma.
I'm a
not see
comma
no
I
per.
love the Oxford comma.
I
no
put commas on everything.
no
Everything.
I don't do it. So
He
like
said, nope.
I I, I don't
Run on sentences
but
all day.
your English teachers would be mad.
Oh yeah.
But no, like it's not even that. It is the content, right? And again, like to get to this, like this makes it easier because so many people are adopting AI, right? In everything that we do, right? Like you got financial institutions that are using it more, right? Like even when it comes to stuff that you may see on their sites, they're just like, like I'm reading so many articles now that I know are written by AI because there's so many mistakes in them, and I'm like, I'm not a journalist, but like you guys should be doing better. Like the way some of this stuff reads, like, and the thing is, you could tell because it's a word, it's a real word, but the context of it shouldn't be where it is. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's like, okay, you put the wrong piece here, or you did this, or you did that, right? And I'm just like, come on now. But they're making it a lot easier with this ChatGPhish because you don't have to go into the email. Like it is revealed in the context of internet searches or research you may be doing, right? So like the injections that they're doing in there, they're putting fake system style security alerts, QR codes that'll direct you to malicious content. So just be on the lookout for this type of stuff, folks. Don't always trust everything that you're seeing out there. And again, because of the prevalence of AI, it's getting a lot easier to make this happen. But Chris, what's your thoughts on this?
So big thing with this, right? So just kind of looking up at this type of attack, it's effectively a prompt injection attack, right? And just kind of looking up, I looked up the OWASP. So OWASP, if you're familiar with that organization, right? They publish like a top 10 vulnerabilities, right? For, it's like a yearly basis, right? So for Aeon's tech, it's OWASP, OWASP. Check it out and you'll see top 10 vulnerabilities each year and kind of what they're seeing in the trends out there and what's happening in the current environment, right? But they published an AI risk one called the LLM, large language model top 10. And prompt injection, this exact scenario is their number one AI risk because it's one of those things where effectively what's happening is like there's almost nothing you can do, right? Like an attacker will booby trap a website, right? They'll put some funny prompts or something in there that it's not there, it's not visible to the naked eye, or even upon just regular inspection of a website. And you ask any LLM or large language model or AI to summarize it, that those instructions are just there. They're since like Shannon was talking about the implicit trust, because there's no like guardrail there. It's almost not like nothing you can do, right? So those summarize, ChatGPT, or if you're using a browser that has an AI built in, Gemini, whatever, if it summarizes something that's potentially quote unquote booby trapped, right? It's got a little trap set for you. It's almost like nothing you can do. So just be wary, and don't just like. I think these attackers have gotten very clever. I think we're very being the AI being so new to us, it's only a few years old now. We just want to say yes. We just want to say, oh yeah, do that, do this, do this. You're quick to pull the trigger on AI. No, this is like making us almost like second guess our AI usage, which is actually kind of crazy, right? It's just one of those things where as a product or a thing mature, more and more vulnerabilities or ways to exploit that specific product, come out, right? And this thing is just, it's a beast, right? Prompt injection. It's like it's one of those things that's everywhere, right? There's prompt injection in the regular internet, and in any it's out there, right? This is what attackers do on a daily basis, like we've said. And it's just one of those things that you just got to be wary of now. It's like nobody, like, remember when the shoe bomber came in the airport, right? And all of a sudden everybody had to take off their shoes at TSA. It's kind of that same mindset. Like, this is kind of like, oh, so everybody's bringing in their rigged shoes on these websites now, right? And then you got to scan it with your own security. It's absolutely wild. It's like that escalation of vulnerabilities over time, right? And zero trust, right? Like you said, like everything, like trust nothing, even your LLM, which is kind of crazy to think about, right? But just be careful. If there's, I mean, what can we do? We could look at URLs potentially, or maybe there's, when you click on something with Google, there's all these extra strings attached to it, right? Maybe look at that on a website, right? If it's not just product.com or whatever, there's a million other things associated with it, right? I don't know. Just little things to be aware of. One thing too, it's like this, I think this is a, enterprise a blind spot with like enterprise, clients as well. It's like, I mean, people have got to go to websites. People have got to go do research, right? If you're in some type of, corporate job, you probably visit multiple websites daily that you gotta for either research purposes or, daily work. It's very difficult, right? So it's a blind spot. So yeah, what I was gonna say, Ryan, what do you think?
So I think I'm in a bubble on this one, only because so I use AI a lot. I use both ChatGPT as well as Claude at home, and then I use Gemini at work, right? I don't use it for search. So my whole thing is when I do search, I'm going to my de facto Google or whatever's available to me to make that search, which has AI baked into it. So maybe there's a way for this to also still execute. But I don't click links. Like I'm always apprehensive of links. And then if I do need to use a link for whatever reason, I usually go to Nord. So Nord has a link checker, right? So is this link safe? So you can just Google link checker and it'll take you to NordVPN and it'll take you there. And then you can drop a link in there and you can analyze it. So again, overkill. But I think the reason that I'm not specifically vulnerable to this one just yet is that I don't trust data being sourced from the internet in an LLM. So whenever I use my chatbots, it's always data I give them. I give them the body of knowledge, right? So when I'm at home and I'm using it to do like an assessment or whatever, I give it the specific controls, like, right? I download the newest from either NIST or from FFIEC or whomever, and I feed it to it. I give it to it as a body of knowledge, and I make markdown files out of it. So again, kind of overboard. But at work, I also don't have that privilege because that one's also enterprise level one. So it's not going to go out to the internet for anything. It's only the stuff that's been already trained on and clean in quotation marks data, right? It can only be used in that manner. It's not going to connect to the World Wide Web. So this one, I feel as though it's kind of mass populous because a lot of people are starting to use their chatbots to search, but I just don't feel the need to do that. You can search in other means because I just don't trust, again, the data sourcing, because people say a lot of wild stuff on the internet, right? Like when remember when we were kids and it was like 9 out of 10 doctors approve this toothpaste, right? You'd be like, what is that one doctor? Like, why is he the outlier or whatever? I feel the internet is 10 out of 10 doctors don't approve the use of toothpaste, right? Like, it's like the internet is wild. It's full of bad information, people who don't research, and just bots that are set there to give us bad information. So I think it's the dirtiest the filthiest of data comes directly from the internet. So I wouldn't trust it in search anyway. At least not if I'm like, hey, help me to, figure out this thing for my research paper and provide me links. I would not do that in a chatbot.
So maybe I'm not as trusting as you, right? So like with you talking about, especially at work, right? Like everything that's provided to you is what's self-contained, right? But how does
Yes.
that get in there, right?
It's
Somebody
been
has to
it's been
provide that
cleaned.
source.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
but somebody has to provide that source, right? So like, and I say this from a standpoint of I have worked on closed networks where a virus has been discovered, and it's like, okay, we as a team had to introduce that if it got in, right? Like it's not connected to any, it's not get connected, it's not connected to any internet sources. We had to introduce it. And I think that's something that sticks with me as always a fear. So whenever somebody tells me it's a closed environment, and I hear it all the time at work, like, hey, it's a closed environment, it's only this, it won't be a problem. I'm like, no. I was like, if somebody wants it hard enough, they'll make it happen, right? Like you don't know who's disgruntled. You don't know if somebody got lazy in what they pulled. They could have pulled the first instance of, you know, what they thought were good patches or whatever, right? If they're not using WSUS or whatever, right? WSUS or whatever, right? And then just uploaded that. And here we are having a problem. So for me, I even with it being self-contained, I'm cautious of that because of experience, right?
Right. No,
That's
and
just
I
me
don't
though.
disagree with you, but I guess I should say it's not going to provide me a link to the outside source. It's just going to give me an answer because that's what it was. That's the data it was given. So if I do search up something or if I ask a question at work, which I typically don't do for an outside source because I know it's not going to be able to provide it, it'll just tell me it flat out like I can't reach that because everything has to be whitelisted to get in. So it can't
No,
even provide me a link. But the information it's given me, I agree. There could be something that was introduced, but I'm not fearful of clicking a link and it's stealing credentials or stealing data because I cannot do that at work. I only get an answer. It's just like,
I,
this is what it is.
my fear would be I start asking about, I want something, I want supply chain management or something from 853, and it's like always by Amazon. It says some wild stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because I'm just saying, like, I'm like, what is Rev 7, right? There is no Rev 7. We're only on 5, right? Like, what is
Right,
going
right,
on here, right?
right,
Like somebody just brought something in that it's garbage in, garbage out, right? Like if they bring something in that's not a good source, like it could just perpetuate throughout.
right. And I build all my own bodies, and I'll go out to the real page and pull down. Like I need these controls. I need 171 controls. Let me get the latest and greatest from NIST and pull those down, right? Because like you said, we could have jumped from Rev 3 to Rev 5, or maybe there is a Rev 7. There isn't, but what I mean, like I always like to have the latest and greatest when I build out the body of knowledge because it only takes an extra couple minutes to pull it down and then feed it, to the bot. But I thought Chris was about to say
No,
something. So
I was going to say something. I was thinking about what sign up for the newsletter from NIST. It's free. Yeah, I'm signed up to all those like newsletter alerts from NIST. So anytime like a revision comes out, there should be an email. But
Yeah, control revision. Yeah.
I also follow the people on LinkedIn, the NIST people on
yeah, and
LinkedIn.
they'll tell
So
you
and
they're like hot
they'll
off the
actually
presses.
and
Yeah,
hot off the press, right? And they'll probably post it. You'll see it on LinkedIn before you see it on official channels, which is crazy. But LinkedIn's a very, very good source for
right.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, this one I just again don't click links. Like it's going to provide you a link, and if you do have to click a link, or if you feel as though you need to go to that source, then throw it in NordVPN, which is not 100%. It'll even tell you. It was like I checked it, but hey, like there's no liability on our side in case it's still bad. But it's just an extra level if need be. But before I give it to you, Shannon, again, please go out there and rate the podcast. Please continue to check us out. Subscribe to where you can subscribe. Hit a like button if you can hit a like button and share our content. We're up to 27,550 listeners currently on the internet radio, uh, and that's not including the podcast listeners, but that's on a weekly basis. And now we're going to expand into a new territory. We're going into the Fairfax/DC area. And we were there before, but we're in video form. Now we're actually going to be on public access radio. So we'll be able to reach way more people than we were before. So I can't wait to get those Nielsen numbers to then share with the population. I give it to you, Shannon, for this week's discussion.
All right, everybody. So this one comes from AHA.org, which is the American Hospital Association. And the title of this one is FBI issues alert on cyber actors impersonating IT personnel, right? So even though this came from the AHA, right, it's actually, they're talking about an FBI release. So FBI actually put out a FBI flash alert. It's flash 2026-0526-01 is the flash number for this. And so what they talk about is a silent ransom group known as Luna Moth, right? Chatty Spider and UNC 3753. These names are
Unk.
always so cool. Yeah, I was gonna say Unk,
The Unk.
but I was like, I was gonna say Unk, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna say UNC 3753. When I first read it, I was like, that's how I read it in my head.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me say UNC.
Random note, University of North Carolina, it's over for you. You're give me Unk forever.
Nobody knows about no Tar Heels, y'all Unks.
You're Unks now.
Yeah, you're Unks. But what they're talking about this flash is law firms and healthcare organizations and also finance industry being heavily targeted, right? So they talk about these actors, right? Luna Moth, Chatty Spider, Unk 3753 being active since at least 2022 and how they're doing data theft and extortion operations, and they don't rely on traditional ransomware encryption, right? So like these guys are out there getting it in, right, in what they're doing, and they talk, and in the flash, it's actually it's laid out pretty good, right, and the indicators to look out for, what they're telling, and it's very layman's, right? They don't make it overly techy to where if someone looks at this, they're like, I don't understand what they're saying, but it's like, no, this is very simple, and like they're even asking for information. So like if you think you have been caught up in this, right? There's information they request from you, right? They're like, hey, can you get us a copy of the ransom note, the phone number, email account used by the threat actor, transcripts of communications with the threat actor to include any voicemails, callback message, phishing email, cryptocurrency wallet information, right? Because we know that's the currency of the hacker right there, right? Of the malicious actors out there. Special sensitivities to stolen data, identifying information of individuals posing as IT support, including surveillance videos and any photos provided. So I say to this, right? If someone is trying to call you and tell you they're your IT department, right? Be mindful of what you are seeing, right? Be mindful of what you're seeing, what you're hearing. If you're a large organization, you may not know who it is that's reaching out to you, right? But my suggestion to you is to know what number to reach out to for your official IT department, right? Don't rely on the number that could be getting spoofed showing up on your caller ID being the one that it is. It's usually one of those things where it's like, hey, let me call you back, right? Call the number you know to be your IT support and speak to someone and go that route, right? Never just trust someone on the other end of the line, especially if it's unsolicited, is who they say they are. But yeah, the reason for this is because of the industries that are getting hit. Like I said, law firms, financial institutions, healthcare industries, and we're seeing it more and more where the healthcare industry is getting hit when it comes to ransomware and information being stolen and things of that nature. So be careful out there, folks. Chris, what's your thoughts on this, man?
I mean, so I was thinking about it, right? I was actually scheduling a doctor's appointment the other day and week, and you can look up who your doctors are, right? You can see a nice portrait of that doctor. They have reviews, right? And same thing for law firms, right? You know who all the associates are at the law firm. They all have their nice professional portrait on their webpage, right? All it takes is that one profile that doesn't have a webpage, right? And then it's like, okay, that's me now, right? that's gonna be the attacker, right? So, these ransomware groups are professionals. Either they're just a bunch of actors, right? Like hired actors too, or intelligence services or whatever. They've got a lot of funding. They've got a lot of expertise in social engineering. This is what they do on a daily basis, right? We've all seen those spy shows and, those movies, right? That guy or gal that can just pull out something and then, just pretend to be somebody just like that. I actually think that's how I'm like trusting. I'm like, I have zero trust, right? But that's how I believe these people act, right? They're very good at what they do, and they do a lot of research on you and the organization before they even attempt to start, that breach, right? So if they find that, hey, look at this physical location, right? They've got a receptionist there. They might be doing a stakeout, like just checking out how many times people go in. They're doing their research, right? So when somebody claims to be your IT team, right, and especially if you're a bigger organization or even like a mid-sized organization, they can look up and find out who works at that organization. If it was a name that was somewhat similar, right, or like my example was, there's a bio somewhere, but his picture or her picture is not out there. Somebody could impersonate that person. So just be aware of your environment. Trust nothing, right? Like assume you're compromised. It's like a common theme today. It's just assume you're compromised. Don't trust anything. And you probably okay. Ryan, what do you think?
In the year of our Lord, 2026, the help desk is not going to contact you ever. So I've worked help desk, right? So I did it for the Air Force for a year. I did it for NSA for a couple of years. Did it for the task force for a few deployments. I have never called someone to then do work that they did not initiate. It's ever. If the help desk is calling you, ask them for their extension and say, "Hey, I'll call you right back. I'm busy." And then call your generic help desk number and then go through the process to get that person back on the phone. Like I can't even fathom me sitting there at the help desk saying, like, proactively trying to call someone to work something that was not initiated ever. Like, I can't even think of it because there's one or two or five of you and there's hundreds or thousands of them. You don't want to open yourself up for that. I barely want to talk to them. I want to open their ticket. I want to work on it. And then I want to move on to the next ticket. And then most of that stuff is socialized. Like if it's something that did come down the pipe where they have to do something that there's a immediate action required. Yeah, I'll push out the enterprise wide email and no one will respond to it typically because it has to be socialized through their management to say, hey, this is a real thing and you need to jump on this and here's the deadline, or else you're gonna be on the naughty list because no one wants to call the help desk either, right? So it's a very contentious relationship. So if somebody calls you and says, hey, I want to start working on this issue that you did not prompt them to call you for, automatically, what's your extension? I'm sorry, I'm super busy. I gotta run to my manager's office, or not even that. Just hey, I can't talk right now. What's your extension? And I will call you back.
They'd be like, "What? You're remote. Why are you running your manager's office?"
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
I don't want to talk to you right now. I just can't fathom the scenario. That's what always blows me about people getting caught. Like I can see if you already had, like if they can inject an issue, right? Like if they're that smart, like I can't remember if Shiny Hunters or who hit MGM. That was very well done, right? Like they're very good, like Chris said, at acting and be able to pull those social levers to get in there. But it had to be something where they knew the person, they did some reconnaissance, like they knew kind of issue or kind of questions to ask them. So these are, they're masterful. But for everyone else who's now on that level, who's now on the Broadway of social engineering, like, yeah, they're not going to be able to dupe you as quickly. It's more of like you want to, be trusting and to work this thing. It's like, oh, thank you. I appreciate you reaching out to me. But yeah, that's typically not the way it happens. Because again, like if they had to call you, do you think they're going to call another 100 people with the same issue? They'd be like, no. If anything, they want that thing to not be a face-to-face or a phone-to-phone scenario because it's going to slow them down and what have you. So it's just weird in that regard. But not to say that I'm impervious to social engineering. That's not the case at all. Just in this scenario, I'm like, the help desk is calling me. What? But Shannon, what you got?
No, so like no, I hear what you're saying, and I think it matters on the environment, right? Like the environment I work in, we do have them call us, but it's always initiated. Like to your point, it's always initiated, right? It's something that's been initiated or whatever, and they will have to come to us. Like sometimes they'll call us, like they can't get into our facility, so they'll call us from the door. Be like, hey, I'm at the door, let me in. But in that case, I'm going to have to physically see the person, and usually like I know the personnel at the help desk anyway, right? But to your point, if you got thousands of people, right, and like no, like send the email out to everybody that may be affected by this. Like don't just call me with that nonsense. And like,
Right.
look, the reason you're probably getting called, like they're gonna start cutting your credit cards off, and this is how you talk to people. You just like I'm busy. Click. Just
I
like
am
the lady that called you about your purchase, man. Like they're gonna start cutting your credit cards off.
I am so rude. I don't mean to be, but it's I've worked in these environments and it's like I don't want to waste your time. Like the person at the gas station trying to check the chip in my windshield. No, I'm good. I got insurance for that. You know what I mean? Like I live in Florida, it's free. So why are we doing this? Why are you inspecting my windshield or whatever? Or why are you trying? Like I was a telemarketer. So I was a telemarketer for almost a year before I joined the military selling magazines. And I wanted to quickly, because the auto dialer hits, it starts calling people. I want to quickly get to the next person because I have a quota to make. I don't want to talk to you for 15 minutes and you don't buy one of these magazines, right? I'm trying to sell the Oprah magazine. I'm trying to sell Home and Beauty. I'm trying to sell Jet magazine. I don't know, but I'm trying to get in there and get out. Like I don't have time for the banter. So I don't do that to other people, but it does come off as rude. You've checked me a couple of times, like, oh, that's not nice, right? I'm like, I'm sorry. It's instinctual. Like, welcome to you with a flyer. No, thank you. It was like, I don't even know what's on it. I don't want to have that conversation. I'm sorry. But some people are not rude like me, and I applaud you. But yeah, it's just that's just a weird one. But I love to, like, I don't love that this is happening, but I love these stories because it always blows my mind how people are impersonating other people, like to include workers, right? Because there was another topic, but it wasn't as timely, where they're finding out that North Korea is even more entrenched in the financial sector and other enterprises. I think it's like Fortune 500s, Fortune 100s, IT, healthcare, and they're working their tails off, and they're making, like, they call it wage theft, but they're working. They're also stealing your IP. But like, some of these people are like employee of the month. That's how good they are at the job. And it's just it's just very interesting to me, because a lot of people do not want to earn their wage, but these people are hustling. They're trying to get bonuses before they get caught. You're like, oh man, he was the best worker ever. He's just somewhere in North Korea pulling a 6-figure salary.
Pulling the 6-figure salary and still going home every day eating rock soup. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like, it make
right.
no sense,
It's like, you're going to be
Crazy.
good or else. So these things always just blow my mind, like people who impersonate other people and make this happen. It's crazy to me. I just don't think we do enough research into it, because they're getting really good. But I digress. So I know we've been gone for a while, but how we always end the episode, right? We talk to each other about what our week was like. In this case, almost a month. So you can share as much as you want to, but to show the personable side of cybersecurity and IT, right? We're not our jobs. We do other things, except for a podcast that's about cybersecurity that we do weekly and have over 900 episodes. But aside from that, Shannon, how was your week?
It was okay. I won't complain. I actually, we got in a conversation at work about Keanu Reeves, and it made me watch the first 3 John Wicks. Like, I'll probably get the 4th one in today, maybe. But like, I was like, I haven't seen those in a minute, right? Let me go ahead and see if they hold up. Yeah, they hold up pretty good. I like it. You know what I mean? So watch the first 3. Also was watching these documentaries on HBO. It's Hollywood Demons, I think is the name of it or whatever. And it's like season
I seen
2.
the thumbnail. Yeah, how
Yeah,
are those?
there's something. Well, I'll tell you that. There's
There's some.
one. It was about, so like in the second season, it's about child stars and how their lives turned out. Right, like some of them that aren't here today, some of them that had rough go of it, and then kind of came through on the other end. However you may see that, right? And then the other one, the one that I'm in the middle of, is the Saved by the Bell. I think it's called like After the Bell or something like that.
Yeah,
Is that one? But
because
yeah,
they had two, right?
they're
They
nice.
had Screech, who I
So
think he's no longer with us, right?
yes,
And
yes.
Lisa Turtle, I think she
Yeah,
had some mental issues, I think.
That's crazy
correct.
how those, child stars are just going away. Yeah.
And it's very common apparently, right? Like, so like they start going through, and I see them all the time when it comes to stuff, like when it comes to people falling on hard times. But Dr. Drew Pinsky, like, I don't know if you guys know who Dr. Pinsky is. If you see him, you'll be like, oh yeah, Dr. Drew. He used to have the show. It
Those
was
people
like
will call in, right?
Loveline or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
with Adam
Hmm.
Carolla, I think. Yeah,
Hmm.
that guy. And he's on here too, like for a few episodes, and him talking about stuff. And I think he's a psychologist. I think
Right. But
psychiatrist.
so he's not the subject of
No,
the
no.
doc. Okay, I was like,
But
dang,
he's
not Dr.
providing.
Drew.
He's providing information, but like he's in a few. He's across numerous ones though,
Gotcha.
where they go to him to talk about stuff. But yeah, the part I have stopped at in the After the Bell one is where Lark Voorhees, Lisa Turtle, actually comes on. Because like for the first, it's a good 30 minutes. Like her mom is talking on behalf of her, and I was like, did she die? I was thinking to myself. I was like, did she die? And then no, like as they sit her down in the seat, I'm like, dang, I gotta go do something. Like, so I turned it off, but I'll probably finish it. But I know there was a point in the past where like there was issues and whatnot to where you'd see her in interviews, and then they brought that up, right? And her mom was talking about it, and then they sit her in the chair, and I guess she's gonna talk about it. But that's pretty much it for me. Like nothing too crazy. I still haven't gotten on these video games like I want to. I'm at like 90% complete for Ghosts of
Okay, yeah.
Yote, and I still haven't done it. I should just knock it out. 70 hours in. I've already invested. I should just get it done, but I haven't. But Chris, what about you, man?
I mean, so from speaking of video games, it's been pretty light. Like I just quit playing video games for a while, just not doing anything on that. I guess busy with work, right? My work side, my company went through acquisition, so there was a very like kind of busy time, right? For me. On the personal side, right? Did some traveling in the meantime, right? In between this long hiatus, right? So I think we went up to Pennsylvania at one point for a wedding, and then we went to a few weeks ago, we went to Chicago, right? So it was my first time actually visiting the city. Chicago's awesome. So I definitely recommend if you guys go during the summertime, right? When there's snow, it's fantastic. So there's a lot of stuff to do, and food's incredible, right? And what else? Really, like, there's some good sports, right? So there's some good sports going on. Been paying attention to that.
Go Knicks.
Yeah. I'm rooting for Cat, right? Former Wolf, right? Minnesota Timberwolves. So Karl Anthony Towns, I hope he fills through. But I do think, as of this recording, right, San Antonio is looking really good. I'm just saying they are looking tough.
So I'm gonna say something to that, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, they won last night, right? I'll give it to you. But like the amount of injuries that OKC had, I find it hard to believe that if everybody was healthy and doing their part, San Antonio could have pulled this off. Me personally, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because like even when I look at the numbers, I haven't been watching, but I've been doing the recap. Even when I look at the numbers, it wasn't like Victor Wembanyama was that dominant in this last game, right? Like there was a lot of help for him, but SGA's just been doing it all on his own, right? Like like the backups that have been providing all the help are getting hurt. What's his name is disappearing. Chet Holmgren's is disappearing altogether, right? And he's about to get into the big money of his deal that he signed last year, I think it was, or beginning of this year, I can't remember. Like he's about to get into the big money, and like there's discussions about should we trade this guy away because like he's not up to snuff when we need him. You know what I mean? But that's me personally. Like the Knicks. I knew the Knicks were good, and I knew Jalen Brunson was good. I didn't know they were this good. Like it'll be 9 days from when they played their last game to when they played this first game in the finals on Wednesday.
They're just performing on like
like
I'm a little worried about the break. Be honest with you.
Yeah, that's a long time.
That's a very long break. Yeah.
It's funny to watch, the New York fans going crazy. I love watching that. They're excited for their team. You even got the mayor out there doing crazy stuff. It's really cool how they've just the fans have reacted. It's been a long time coming for New York City, right? For this, so props to New York. But yeah, I'm rooting for Cat, right? I mean, what's that? If he wins this championship, that's going to be like the fourth Timberwolf or something in the past 40 few years, like 20 years that's left that wins the title. Was KG, Kevin Love, who else? Was it Wiggins? And now Cat, right? So
I wasn't even thinking about that, man.
Yeah. So Minnesota, we have the longest drought for any of the championships from the big four men's sports, NHL, MLB, and NFL. We are the most successful city without a championship. And I hate it. And I'm used to it. We are the perpetual losers of all sports. And it's just accepted. Like when the Timberwolves lost, I'm like, been there, done that. It's like, what's next? It was funny because the Wolves and the Wild were eliminated at the same time. I'm like, it sucks, but that's what happens to us Minnesota fans, and the day that we break through, it's going to be a wild one. But we're just so used to being disappointed. You can't disappoint us anymore. Like,
you sound like a Jets fan. That's how the Jets treat their organization.
Absolutely. I love the Vikings. We're probably never going to, at least not. If we assume we're never going to win a Super Bowl, we can't be disappointed. You understand, Ryan. You're a Bills fan.
I do.
You understand completely.
I do understand.
They're great. We just didn't make it to the Super Bowl again. That's how I feel every year with Minnesota sports. But yeah, you're rooting for Cat. Hopefully he pulls through. That should be very interesting. And then what else? What movies are going to come out this year? It's like the Odyssey, right?
Yeah, Odyssey, Spider-Man, Resident
Evil. I'm really looking forward to the Odyssey. I'm a Chris Nolan fanboy, so I'll watch everything that he puts out on IMAX within like the first 2 weeks. It's gonna be great.
It'll definitely be
long. It's gonna be
It'll
long,
definitely be epic. Very epic.
Sometimes I'll go alone and I'll just plant myself in a seat and just lose yourself for 3 hours. It's fantastic. Those three, I love it. But other than that, that's pretty much it for me.
So on my side, recovered from it was just a really bad cold, right? Like they tested me for everything. It was just like, because I initially went to, because every day it got worse, and then like almost a weekend, I'm like, yo, something ain't right. Like this might be the new COVID. So I went to the urgent care, and they were like, nope, it's going around. Like, because I was hoping to give me a steroid or antibiotic. They're like, nope. Like, you're at what day? I was like day 6. He was like, yeah, tomorrow it'll be the peak, and because she had it. So she was like, every day you're gonna feel worse, and then you're gonna peak, and then you're gonna come back down. She was right. It was like 2 weeks to get over that thing.
She
And
was
then
like,
Junior
buckle
Junior
up.
got it. Yeah, Junior got it. I felt so bad for him. He's just now wrapping up with his. It's like, man, only the males in the house. All the ladies are just like, man, I'm fine. Let's try to take us out.
Sexist virus.
Right, exactly. But that's just the way that you end the school year, right? Like prom season hit, them kids is nasty, and then they affect the rest of us in the community. So it is what it is. But summer kicked off, or summer will kick off next week. So all the kids are done with school. But my second oldest, he'll be graduating high school next weekend. So super excited for that. Going to USF, join his sister. So we got all types of USF bulls in the house. My wife's pursuing her graduate degree. Got 2 undergrads now. So makes you kind of want to go. I want to be part of the club.
It's your turn. Get yourself some type of executive certificate or something.
So I heard you can't do like I'm not knocking anybody out there, right? We got a lot of people who are listening.
Can't do it.
Not well. You can't rep as hard because I was thinking that I was like I'll get an MBA or not an MBA, but I'll get like a business certificate from USF so I can rep too. I'm like, oh, we all USF.
Why not?
And they were like, nah, you gotta at least like in my case like go for the whole MBA. I'm just like, I don't want to do that.
See if there's like a 1 year master's. Do like a 1 year master's in something.
Like find something that's 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year, and then just say, hey, look, that'd be cool. Like that's a cool little like, hey, we're all USF grads. That's pretty cool to me.
It is kind of cool. Like I'd be able to rep.
If you're the only one, you're just like, dude, you got it.
Yeah, I have a USF dad mug. That's all I got right now. I want to rep I want the full hoodie.
Exactly.
You want the love, not the dad. You're trying to get beat into the gang. You know what I mean?
Right.
Show me some love.
Well, then my wife, man, she was doing homework at night, and I'd be like, ooh, I don't want to do that again, right? Why do I subject myself to that? So, we'll see what happens in the future. But watched a lot of media, right? Because I was on the couch a lot. So I'll start with the good and end with the bad. So took my wife to go see The Notebook last night. So that was her Mother's Day gift. I got her tickets on Mother's Day, and then we finally went. It was finally the showing for our tickets. Really, so I know Chris has been to this Straz probably. But we were in the orchestra, right? So I was able to get some really good tickets. So we were in the GG number 13 and 14. So we're like right there, center stage, like row 3 or 4. It was, and that production was amazing. I don't see a lot of plays. Like my wife sees way more plays than I do. And I want to see a lot more, but I have watched the Notebook movie several times. My wife has read the book, watched the movie, but to see it on stage, man, it was awesome. They did. It didn't overstay its welcome. Like I think it altogether was like close to 2.5 hours with intermission, and it didn't feel like it. Like so, I'd rather that.
Yeah.
I'd rather not be beat down by a play where it just feel like it's going and going and going. Like when it wrapped up, I was like, I could have did some more.
I'm a big supporter of the performing arts, right? So whenever you do get to see actors, with their talent, executing their craft, it's amazing to watch it in person, right? It's like, man, and also like the actors that can sing on live. No auto tune, perfect execution and intonate. It's incredible to watch. So definitely recommend going to see plays or supporting your local, arts wherever you are listening in.
Yeah, no doubt. And I guess you call it stagecraft, maybe, like how they move things around and whatnot. Like the way that they set it up and it was changing different scenes and the lighting was dope. Like they did an amazing job. It rained on stage, right? Because you got to have that scene, that famous Notebook scene where they're spinning around in the rain. They did it. Like on stage, I was like, yo, somebody gonna slip and fall. They did. Like, however they made that work, it worked out really well. So I was like, okay. And then, okay, so that was the great. And then I've watched Spider-Man Noir. I have not finished it yet. Pretty good, what I've seen so far. I'm a big Nick Cage fan though, so it is what it is. His name's actually Nick Cage now. Like he actually changed it to Nicolas Cage. Because that's not his real name. His name is Nicholas, but it's like Coppola, like Francis Ford Coppola. Like he's like family.
He's a Coppola, but I thought he changed it officially like years ago. Was that just a stage name?
I just read an article. Yeah, I just read an article where he said so maybe he's just reporting old news. But yeah, he's like, my name's actually Nicolas Cage now. So I was like, okay, like he's embodying the persona of Nicolas Cage. But I've watched 3 episodes so far. I like it. I watched 2 of them black and white, 1 of them in color, because my wife came down and I was watching. She was like, this looks boring. So I was like, you can actually flip between the color black and white on the fly, and it doesn't cause it to skip or buffer or anything. And even the color is unique. It's like overly saturated and blown out. right? So it still has like it feels like Technicolor. Like remember watching things that were used to be black and white? Like when I was a kid, Beverly Hillbillies, right? It was a black and white show, and then at some point they started to go into Technicolor, where they kind of faked some of the colors. It has this overblown, saturated type feel. Same thing for the TV show. So far, I like it. I'd say behind that is The Boys finale. I watched that. Finale was not that great. I'm sorry. Like I enjoyed the ride though, so I'm not. It did not cause me to not like the whole series. Like some people are like, oh, the series is ruined now. It's just one bad episode. It's fine. So watch that. I'm super interested in the new spin-off prequel, the Vault Rising. Is going to be crazy. So interested in seeing that. And then the worst of it, and I know Shannon knows, I don't know if Chris knows, I like watching bad movies and bad TV shows on purpose. Like it's just something cathartic about it. Like I like bad like B movies. I like them. And
Hence you
sometimes
being
I
such
gotta
a Nick, since you being such a Nick Cage fan, because all his movies are bad now.
that Face Off, Gone in 60 Seconds. God, he has two.
Now, his stuff was good early, not now.
Yeah. I'm sorry, like I forget Wicker Man. It's like the bees. And then he was in the bear suit and he was running and he punched the lady. Nicolas Cage. Hilarious. But so the worst of it, and I'm actually enjoying it on Tubi. So I saw a YouTube ad for a TV show called The Edge of Sleep. So the premise, and it's not giving anything away because it's in the trailer. The premise is that there's a virus. You fall asleep, it kills you, right? So there's a handful of people who are working the night shift that are like the stars of this show, and they're trying to go without sleep because they're trying to figure this out. Because if they sleep, they die. And it is just as cheesy as you can think. Like my kids walked by and saw me watching it, and they were like, "Oh, you watching that Mark Plyer? I think is his name. He's a YouTube guy, legacy YouTube guy. Like back when YouTube was first blowing up. His name's Mark Plyer. He reminds me of Keanu Reeves because his nationality he's white and Asian, but he also has like that deadpan type reaction, like whoa, you know what I mean, like that Keanu Reeves style. So my kids are like they're wondering why I'm watching this really cheesy TV show, but they also are like, how do you not know who this guy is? He's like YouTube famous. I'm like, I've never seen him a day in my life. I just was never really into YouTube personalities, right? I just watch for the content and I keep it rolling. But yeah, it's not great, but I'm loving it. I'm eating it up. Like I think they're on. I'm about midway through the TV show. I think it's like they're on hour 41 of no sleep. So listen, I'd already be dead. I've never gone past 24 hours of no sleep. Like then they have reasons for it. Like the one dude works night shift, so it's basically his day, right? He's just now having to stay up a little bit longer. One lady, she's an insomniac. Another one, she's on, doped up on caffeine pills. Like I would not make it. Like I always tell my wife, like in these scenarios, like how I would make it, like if Resident Evil broke out or something like that. If the enemy was sleep, I'm a goner. Like I can't keep my eyes open past 9:30, 10 o'clock. So I would definitely be done for. But I'm enjoying it. It's Tubi, so you want to watch something that's a little bit not that great, go to Tubi. They have a lot of it. Loving it.
I can't do it, man. My time is too precious to be watching, stuff like that.
Loving it.
Unless it's in the background. Unless it's in the background doing work.
Right.
I'm like,
right.
Okay, that's a piece of crap Tubi show, which is hilarious, right?
No, I go seeking the Tubi films. That's how I get down. And then the last thing, I just started playing the Legacy of Batman, the Lego Batman video game. And I never played a Lego Batman game longer than a demo, right? I never bought one. But you know how it got me? I was watching the trailer, and the trailer has Kiss from a Rose in the background. And I was like, they have made this game for me. Because not too many people will associate one of Seal's greatest works with Batman. But I do, and it spoke to me. It's so epic. The trailer is so epic. The way they cut Kiss from a Rose into the action, and it's humorous. It's funny. It has Arkham style combat, right? But it's a little toned down, so I turned the difficulty up. But so far, so good, man. I'm collecting Legos. I'm building weird Batman contraptions. It's got adult, not like a humor that an adult and a child could find funny together. So you could play split screen. So I'm playing with my son today, probably, but I'm definitely enjoying it. So I'll let you know how it goes. I'm several hours in, but so far it's keeping my attention. I'm having fun, but that's it for me. So definitely, everybody, thank you for your patience. Definitely continue to tune in. You catch us on your podcast platform of choice. Also, check us out on your radio. So we're on WDJY 99.1 FM in the Atlanta metro area. Tuesdays, 5 p.m. East Coast time, as well as we're going to kick off Fairfax Radio. That is the broader Washington, D.C. area, Fairfax and D.C. That will start June 10th, and that will be 8 a.m. on your second Tuesday of every month. Hit us up by all the sites that go by our name. Hit up rampcyber.io, theothersideofthefirewall.com, where you can pick up the guide, as well as ryanwilliamssenior.com, so you can check out all my content. And where can they find you, Chris?
You can find me on LinkedIn under my name, Chris Avicon, last name spelled A. Bacon.
There it is. Stay safe. Stay secure.